Beyond. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. It's episode 88 of Podcast Beyond.
Yep.
We have quite the interesting crew here in the studio today. So, first off, Ryan is here.
Yep.
Ryan,
hey.
how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
We also have Ryan, second Ryan.
The real Ryan, Ryan Geddes.
Ryan Geddes is here, and David Clayman.
I'm confused.
He is here. All right, so to start the show off before we get into the news, so here's the deal. As many of you have already seen, we had a little bit of restructuring going on at IGN. Actually, preceding that bit, let me just say that Greg and Sam are at the second half of a Sony event, so that's why they are not here.
Right.
Jeff is in Hawaii, but he's also not on the PlayStation team anymore. Jeff is now part of the PC. He's still at IGN. He's still part of the PC, but he's part of the PC team now. You'll still see content come our way from stuff that is also on the PC. So he's around, but he's not going to be weekly on the show anymore.
Yep. And I mean, this is his farewell episode, but he's not here.
So
we're going to have it anyway.
But we have some special things in store for that.
Jeff, are you here?
But to kind of go over a little bit of the restructuring super fast for anybody that kind of cares, we've basically created a shared content team, which Dave Clayman, who still does run the Insider channel.
Yeah.
So he's heading up that team.
Yeah.
Ryan Geddes is handling features content.
Yes.
So we see all kinds of cool little, things created by his brain coming our way on all sorts of things.
Well said.
Wait, is this not the Three Red Lights podcast right now?
No,
sorry,
I'm
it's
sorry. We didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, we tricked you.
Yeah, this is the first time hearing of any of this.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what's going on. And then Damon Hatfield, who has a very busy day, is going to be our downloads editor. So he'll be doing a lot of PSN content, Xbox Live, and also WiiWare stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much the scope of it now.
And when we say restructuring, it's not negative. Every time I try to explain to someone, they're like, "Oh, well, we know why for obvious reasons." I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a good thing. I mean, we're trying to sort of just work smarter and move people around. We're also hiring a couple of new people. So, I mean, we're not downsizing the company. We're actually doing some good stuff. So
We're working smarter, not harder, and trying to align our synergies from 5,000 feet.
Yeah.
it's really all about core competencies
And
for
Mac
us.
Bless.
Yeah.
So there you go. So let's get right into the rope report. Yeah, where's my sheet? Here we go. I'm missing the time for some news thing.
I'm so glad it's over.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, so for some readers, I'll point that out. Let's see what to talk about this week. First off, the EA Sports Complex is out. I was just in home, if you don't know what that is. I was just playing it, and so one cool thing is that there's poker in there.
Uh-huh.
I actually had something to do I was engaged in for the 20 minutes I was in the game.
You liked something at home.
I did like something at home. I mean,
Wow.
it's far and away not the greatest poker game of all time.
Yeah.
But it works. And I was playing with people, and that part worked. There's a bunch of coming soon stuff. There's going to be a golf course and some other things in there. But there's also some sort of racing game, which I was trying to play for about an hour, and it didn't work. The servers were kind of screwed up, and since your interactivity with stuff at home is based on proximity and not what you're looking at, if somebody was standing too close to me, I couldn't trigger the game to go. So that was a whole lot of fun.
So it's a car racing game, though?
I don't know.
Oh.
You can't see it until you actually play it, so who knows what it is.
So in your poker game, do you actually win money, and can you do stuff with that money, or is it just for bragging rights?
Well, I only played one game, and I wound up losing because I had to go do whatever, so I just went all in on a 10 or no jack 8, and guy went up with a pair of 10s or something. I lost. But anyway, I think from what people were saying that if you win a hand, then you win. If you win a table, then you win a shirt that you can wear. And it looks like the table that I don't know if this is in effect yet, but the table that I went to had an entry fee, and that was $0. So it looks like what will happen is you'll actually win credits that you'll carry over and you can build up and stuff, which is kind of cool. So
Not
it'll
real
be,
credits, though.
No, well, no. Yeah. You can't spend on anything.
That would be illegal.
But you will have persistent money within the complex stuff, which is cool. So you can.
That'd be hilarious if you could
build
just
up your
start
minions.
throwing away your money on your PSN account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you
Very
go.
nice.
Battlefield 1943 got a date and a price coming out in June for $15. I don't think there's a specific day in June, but it's coming out in June. The Killzone 2 Steel and Titanium add-on pack, which we already know is coming out April 30th, is going to cost $5.99. That's for 2 maps. I don't know if that's...
Wow.
Yeah. Hopefully they're good.
How big are the maps?
We don't know.
Big
Apparently
enough
they're
for
cool,
a
though.
Mac Blast.
$5.99.
Yeah,
big.
and they're based off of the single-player maps, so it sounds to me like it's going to be kind of repropagated content. I mean, they're going to tweak them and stuff, so
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see about that one. Lego Rock Band was announced. What the deuce?
Terrible.
It's the worst news I've ever heard.
We're going to come back to this in the reader mail. I got somebody asking about that one, but now you know it exists. Brutal Legend is coming October 13th. That's good news for all. Perhaps best news of all this week is the announcement of Fallout New Vegas. Made by Obsidian.
It's actually Lego Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
Lego edition.
That would be the worst thing of all time.
Or the best.
Or the best, yeah. But it's made by Obsidian, and some of the higher ups at Obsidian were the guys that were working on like the original Fallout games. So that's actually really cool news. And then last but not least is that Dante's Inferno is also coming to the PSP. So now you can get it on your.
So you can defile classic literature on the go.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's all the news for the week. Ryan.
Yes.
Usually every week when I want to know what kind of content's coming to the store,
You turn to Greg.
I never know how to get, but Greg always has some sort of. He always tells me what's happening.
I know. You want to know why he tells you?
What's
Because
that?
he always has constant access to the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors. Ryan, sing something.
I will not.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, very busy week in PlayStation land. We have Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 for the PlayStation 3 and
How
PS2.
much do you hate your life right now?
And that's it.
That's it.
That's all I found coming out right now.
So you pretty much
Maybe
have to buy that.
That's a pretty terrible list.
Yeah, it's an awful list. It is. I am still the default Koei reviewer for all things that the company makes. So I'm still pretty depressed. No, it's all good. It's all
So
fun.
pick of the week is a hard one then, because I wouldn't intentionally ever tell anybody to buy
No,
Dynasty
I
Warriors.
mean,
I would.
it would be. It's a stretch for me to say this, but it is sort of true that the Gundam games in the Dynasty Warriors are slightly better than their other games because they probably have more money to throw around. But with that said, that's like saying that
Gundam Dynasty Warriors
this
is
type
kind of
of-
like Lego Rock Band.
It's sort of like saying that being doused in pee is better than being doused in poop.
I just
Which
used
is
this
true,
analogy.
but-
We were talking about the Saints Row DLC, and I was like, if someone said they're gonna poop on your head, but then they said they're gonna poop a little bit more on your head, is that a good thing? No, it's not, because it's still intrinsically bad.
yes.
Yeah.
But not that Saints Row 2 is bad. I just used that
Well,
analogy
that's the
randomly.
thing. This food
randomly.
is terrible, and the portions are so small.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think what Clayman is trying to say is all things Koei makes are just poop on your head.
No, I happen
I
to
know.
like Koei games from my very long experience reviewing them on Xbox. It was fun to do those because you know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
they're not AAA titles, but
No,
you know.
not at all. And the great thing is that you never get the game and it's totally broken and it's not working and you're really frustrated. It's
'Cause they
always
make the
just
same game
yeah, it's
twice
the
a
same,
year.
Yes, it's the same thing you
Do
can
you
always
like
expect.
slashing stuff and collecting weapons? Yes. Okay. Dynasty Warriors Gundam. Enjoy.
Yes, there you go.
Very
If you like giant robots too.
Needs more Gundams.
So I guess pick of the week by default. All right, sure. There it is.
There's nothing on the PSN coming out this week?
There's only a demo and some others and some booster packs, which I'll get to soon, but we don't know if there's any titles
Why
coming.
don't you hit that right now?
All right. So on this, I guess this is our Blognac update then. So Roper, you already said that the home thing went live, so
Yep.
that's great.
I was dead.
Mahjong Tales
He's dead.
Ancient
Zombie
Wisdom.
Blognac.
Mahjong Tales Ancient Wisdom has a booster pack with 25 new layouts coming later on in the day.
Awesome.
Yep. I know Greg was a huge fan of that game. He was not.
Let
And,
me ask you this, because this is very important. Do you know if there are new story segments? Because that's what makes that game.
it didn't say.
Man, the
sorry.
voiceovers.
Yeah, the voiceovers
something
were
else.
epic. It should come with a soundboard, so you can just call people up.
I would
and-
buy it if it came with a soundboard.
Okay. Well, I'll send a note.
All right, please do.
And also, according to Volition's site, Red Faction demo is coming later on.
Before we got into the podcast, I noticed our people on the boards were saying it was up in the European store.
Ah,
So it would
okay.
definitely be up today. It just hadn't hit the US yet.
Yeah, we
So-
weren't. I mean, I wasn't sure because Sony didn't say anything about
Yeah.
it. So
Oscar
I can
Chamber.
tell you, I can't tell you anything about the content whatsoever. Charles has been playing the game.
I played a little bit.
But I can tell you that what I've seen of him do is basically cars drive up on one of the dirt roads on Mars or whatever, and then he scares off people, and there's a giant line of cars. Then he just goes around hitting them with a shovel and just constantly destroys cars
Sledgehammer.
or whatever.
Hammer.
He's got
Sort of-
he's got the ostrich hammer, right? And then you can just hit people in the face over and over.
yeah.
it sounds like instant win.
I don't know much else about the game, but I don't really need to know much else because that was enough fun for me.
Yeah. So if you want to kill people inside of vehicles and leave them stranded on Mars and pretend that Arnold Schwarzenegger's running around and losing his mind, which by the way, Mars Arnold Schwarzenegger thing. When I was on the plane coming back from the Sony event, a kid sitting in the window to me, probably about 8 years old, was quoting Total Recall.
Nice.
Whoa.
Wow.
That was something else.
It's good to see the classics are staying alive with
Yeah.
the younger generation.
Was he Quado?
He was quoting. He was going, "Look into my eye, look into my eye," and I'm like, "Dude, that's total. It can't be anything else." And he's like 8. I'm like, there's a 3-boobed woman in there topless, and I'm like,
this brings up a startling issue. I have seen a lot of children at movies that they should not be bringing children into, including when we went all that. I can't speak today, so that's just a note. When we all went to see Crank 2, there was a little kid in the theater.
Yeah, that's like
and I was thinking, no. I'm sorry. I know you might, want to expose the kid to action movies and stuff, but there's less insane action movies.
How else is he going to learn about murder and swearing? To have it actually happen to him,
and
or to see it happen to somebody
inappropriate
else?
Uh,
racial stereotypes?
spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
God, come on, guys. I see it with games all the time. I'm in like a GameStop and I'll see a woman buy her like 12-year-old kid a copy of GTA 4.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I think the employees are supposed to say, "Ma'am, do you know there is a prostitute in this game?"
There's at least
And when I
one
say
prostitute.
one prostitute, I mean 4,000.
We watched Jason Ocampo on the PC team playing a game where he was fighting a woman with 4 breasts yesterday.
Yeah,
He was hitting her with a stick.
Oh, what is that game?
Is it-
Oh man, I can't remember the name because it's a PC game, so it's
like
so it
wholly
doesn't matter.
forgettable.
Something with a V or an X.
Sure.
Something about
yeah.
stones or
Crafting.
crafting.
X-Vortex.
yeah.
World of.
I've heard him say it
diamonds.
several times, and then I just always forget because it means nothing to me.
I've asked him what he's playing 3 times.
Yeah,
And
but basically it's
yeah.
totally awesome because you can walk up to people and punch them in the face over and over again. And they're like elephant people with tusks and chicks with 4 boobs. And then you punch them and they're on the ground and you can kick them in the face while they're on the ground and their bodies go flying off into the distance.
You know what's awesome about, like, since we've done this kind of reorganization, like, we've also moved our desks around a lot. So now, like, it used to be the PS3 guys and the 360 guys, we kind of all sat in this same little area. We never really got to see what the PC guys were doing. They were kind of over in a corner playing the weirdest games you can possibly imagine. So now, like, Jason Ocampo is right in the middle of that area. So every time we all walk by, we see him playing the craziest, stupidest games. It's great. I love it.
Usually it's like, what's Jason playing? Like, I don't know. He's over the wall. It's like, it's like 10 feet away. Can't make it.
All right, let's get on to topic of the week. So I don't have any good trophy tips. Ryan, have anything you want to add in there?
Sorry,
All right,
nothing for today.
We'll skip that. So let's get right on to topic of the week. Now, since we have some, usually, it's 4 or 5 Sony guys in here talking about what Sony's doing, whatever. So I thought it would be interesting to get your all's opinions about how Sony's doing with the PS3 and the PSP, and maybe going into E3, what needs to happen. Do you think the year's going to be good? Just your general thoughts on.
I only care about the PSP too. That's the only thing I care about. And I believe every rumor that I've read on the internet, and it's going to be awesome. And especially, looking at that Grand Theft Auto rumor, where the guy's like, if you'd like to play a portable version that is not on PSP1, you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
I wonder what
Or
that
Gran
means.
Turismo.
Gran Turismo, I'm sorry.
Is it going to be touchscreen?
That's the rumors.
That's the rumor. And then it has a fold-up screen, right? So it doesn't fold up. It slides up to reveal.
That's also the rumor.
Also the rumors.
Which I think would be rad, because then you could play either way.
Yeah, and I believe everything.
And then you Twitter it.
Fire everything.
Yeah, I believe it all because I want to get excited because I am probably the only person in the office who still loves his PSP. Like I use it all the time. It's my favorite handheld I've ever had.
What?
I've had a lot of them. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You like it better than the DS, I guess.
Oh yeah, DS is DS is for babies. Mike Thompson,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Mike Thompson has left the company, but his spirit lives on in that the DS
But what
is for
games
babies.
do you play on the PSP?
What games don't I play on the PSP? It has a ton of great role-playing games, first of all. They re-released the Final Fantasies on it. They re-released the Star
But they
Oceans on
released
it.
Final
Fantastic.
That's
Fantasy.
like
They released Final
7,000 hours of
Fantasies
gameplay
on
right
DS
there.
too.
Plus, I loved whatever that crappy game was, the Final Fantasy.
Crisis Core.
I
Thank
loved
you
that
for
game.
calling it crappy.
Well, I mean, it's not a Final Fantasy game, but I still loved it
Yeah,
because it's
I
a slot
enjoyed it.
machine.
Yeah.
And I could play the Wipeout games for the rest of my life and be happy. And then if you get bored with those, there's still Lumines, and it's still awesome.
I just think the DS has a much better library.
And if you hadn't noticed, the UMDs in any store that you can find them in now cost less than a movie in any other format because nobody buys them. So you can go get a whole slew of movies for under $5. You can go get 3 UMDs for $5 right now if you want. And show me a place you can buy movies for less money. You can't. And so I use it to watch movies too. And I think it's just a great handheld. And so I think the second one's going to be the best handheld
You
of all
should
time.
just take my place right now.
And then you look at the DSi. What a piece of crap that is.
I don't want the DSi.
I am so tired of
know.
Nintendo's underpowered garbage.
Yeah. It's true.
It's really obnoxious at this point. But it has the camera on both sides.
Yeah, now I can take pictures of Japanese girls and draw mustaches on them. more than I already do.
I see.
I am excited for that little like animation picture thing for the DS, for the DSi.
That Craig was playing with a.
I don't think that's what. No,
okay.
not that thing. It's like the little flip book, and you can create like flip book
You can
animations.
do that on
stuff.
the iPhone, you know.
Oh, I know, but yeah, I know it's a little bit different on the DSi though. But anyway, I bought one and I used it for like 10 minutes messing around with the cameras, and now it's just sitting on my shelf, and I'm like waiting for that one app.
I can't play that in public either. I always feel like, I'm sitting there with this creepy guy holding some kid's toy, like, hey, who wants to see the games I'm playing?
Well, as long as you don't have a Hello Kitty DS.
Is there something wrong with it?
Yeah, what if I do?
Yeah.
It's just like...
Mine's a Choco Cat one.
Like, I suppose I am constantly updating in my brain what is possible with current technology, and, the thing's about as powerful as a cell phone. So, come on, give me a real handheld.
Well, I mean, it's actually less powerful than most cell phones now.
Right.
I mean, the iPhone kills it.
Yeah.
Pre-dominates that, and I mean, the G1, I don't know what that can do as far as games, but you got to assume that's way better.
I mean, yes, it does have good RPGs on it and stuff, but I'm also if I have to pick, I take one handheld with me. I already have 2 cell phones I have to carry around, so PSP has been it, and it's served me well.
Yeah.
Very good.
For me, I think it's going to be a price cut. I mean, the PS3 price cut.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear, because I don't have a PS3 yet.
You think you'll make the jump if they do?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, not right away maybe, but I mean, definitely I will. And like, I really want a PS3. I like the system, but it's just been too expensive, and for what it is, for the library that it has. You know, for me, I own a 360. I have another 360 team. I have a lot of 360 games. But yeah, I would love to hear about a price cut. And actually, when's Gran Turismo 5 coming out? Do we know yet?
We don't know.
I would love to hear some solid information on that.
So the rumor that was happening last week by there was a mysterious post by a guy named Amar212. Basically, and
he knows the name.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, because I wrote the thing, so I remember.
Carve it into your arm. You're
anyway,
so ready
going
for this
by
game.
his previous posts, he's to be trusted 100%. And according to his cryptic thing, it says something about 30 days before 12 months pass, which could either mean the end of the year, being the 12 months, which would mean it would be coming out, give or take, about December 1st, or a year from now minus a month, so we figure March. That's probably the more likely thing. It's probably March 2010.
Yeah, you would think if they're going to release it for the holiday season, it would come out in October or early November rather than December 1st.
Well, not Prologue, but what was it? 4, I think, came out. Or no, 4 was like February, but it came out. They do a lot of Japanese releases like on Christmas Day. Like Prologue, actually, yeah, Prologue when it released in Japan was on Christmas Day, I think.
That's so weird.
If I remember correctly. So, yeah, I don't know. So they do that. But I mean, yeah, the price drop has to happen. It's like it's ridiculously expensive right now.
I guess the PlayStation 3 is no stranger to bundles.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be a Gran Turismo 5 PS3 bundle at some point?
That would be a very good idea. I don't know if it's really necessary because
they're selling systems like crazy. I mean, they're running out the door.
But I mean, the thing is, the Gran Turismo faithful, the people that would be going to get that, are going to be buying it anyway.
They're going to bundle it with an RX-8.
You know. I don't know. I'm really
giant
surprised.
arcade cabinet.
I mean, you can get MotorStorm with the thing, but I'm really surprised that you can't run out and get. I mean, after E3, I think because Microsoft now has Halo 3 and Fable 2 with the 360, which is a crazy deal. All right. I think at E3, if Sony says, "Hey, we're going to drop the price to $300, and here's Resistance 1 and Uncharted 1." Get you to try to go buy the sequels, and you have 2 good games.
Yeah,
and all
Ratchet.
That. Or Ratchet 1 because that's supposed to be coming out in the fall. Like any of those combinations would be awesome.
One other thing, Dave touched on it when he was talking about how great the PSP is for RPGs that are re-released on the handheld. When am I going to get my exclusive, mega awesome PS3 RPG? There isn't one.
White Knight.
Yeah, probably White Knight Chronicles.
White Knight could be really
is the
cool.
big one.
But we don't know anything about it, really. I mean,
we know more than we used to after they showed it to us at TGS.
Yeah, here it is. It exists now. Please go away.
I can tell you.
Does that?
So I can tell you. We can't tell you too much about it right now, but I can tell you that I've seen the strategy guide for it, and it's the size of the Bible. So
and that directly correlates to the quality of the game.
No, I'm just telling you that there's a lot in there, or there's at least a lot of charts to be read.
Because that's going to be big. Like for me, I want to have something special on that system RPG-wise that really... I mean, now that Final Fantasy 13 is cross-platform, man, that's a huge...
Well, I was going to say Versus is still exclusive, but it's more of an action game.
Yeah, not my thing.
Lame. Hey, I want to know the stats on how many people would like to buy a PS3 who already own a 360 but have to keep rebuying their 360 so then they can afford a PS3.
That would actually be a very interesting thing. Yeah.
Because
put that up as a
actually
poll.
happened to me many times where I'm like, okay, time to get a PS3. 3 red lights. I'm like, I already have the game library and I'm in the middle of something right now. I have to rebuy it.
I was actually talking to a friend of mine
Strategy by Microsoft. I bet you it was.
who says, you know what? I'm thinking about actually going out and buying a Pro or an arcade model, like just to have a backup unit for my 360. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That increases the price of the 360 to $700. Like,
Yep.
what?
Yeah.
Have a backup.
Like, what are you? I was like, what are you
in
talking
case.
about? But he's right. I mean,
Do you know what I put my 360 on at home? In my entertainment center?
On your
to
calendar
prop it,
box?
To prop it up. No, I put it on top of a broken 360.
That's the best thing to do.
It's a stand.
I put mine on top of an Indian burial ground.
I have my launch 360 died, give or take, about a year ago, and I still have it in the coffin in the back of my car. It was like I put it in there, and then I was supposed to go. I wanted to go drop it off. We don't use UPS here,
Right.
so I had to drive to the store as opposed to just dropping it off upstairs.
Right.
And I got too lazy to drive to the store, and then I was like, well, it's gonna break again, so I might as well just go buy another one. So I bought an Elite.
Yeah.
And then it's just sitting and so now I move stuff in and out of my. I go on a plane trip or something, and I'm like, well, my box is taking up space. I'm too lazy to throw it away. It's kind of funny, so it's
just put it in the passenger seat with the seatbelt on. Draw like a face on it.
I will intentionally speed so that I get pulled over, and then the cop's like, "What's that?" It's my dead 360. He's like, "Move along, sir. I feel your pain."
I've got
Get
one in
out
my
here."
car.
Oh man. Let's look at library. Like, what do you guys think of the PlayStation 3's give or take fall-ish, maybe early next year library compared to 360?
I don't know.
There's
Well,
I
there's
tell
a
you,
little announced
the
for everything
360
right now.
library I know isn't looking very good, but I haven't been following that closely what's coming out on PS3.
PS3 right now, the big ones that I can remember off the top of my head:
2, right?
Uncharted 2,
God of War.
Infamous.
God of War will be out before. Yeah, Infamous is in June, or actually end of May now.
Yeah.
God of War will be before the end of the fiscal year, which will be March. Which, if I was telling to Hillary, I'm like, dude, if Sony is releasing God of War 3 and Gran Turismo 5 in the same month, I'm like, dude, call Microsoft now, because if that happens, they've got to have like Halo 4 or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, so that could be a gigantic month. And then there'll be a new Ratchet at the end of the year. Mag's coming out. I don't know if that's going to be great yet or not. But
When are
it's
the
interesting.
MMOs coming out? We got the Agency, we got DC Universe. When are those supposed to?
So the Agency, we actually may be hearing about a solid date soon, and DC Universe, so far as I remember, is still whenever it's going to be ready. But I
Okay.
think that's still a good year or so out.
Because I know that Sony is dumping huge resources into
Yeah.
getting a good, solid MMO running on the PS3, which
Yep.
Microsoft is way behind on.
Yeah.
That could be a big thing too if a community.
Yeah.
builds
White
up
Knight
around it.
Chronicles has an MMO built into it as the multiplayer too, so that's like one of the things they're trying to tout along as well. Didn't know if you knew that.
didn't
I'm
know
pretty
that.
picky about games on PlayStation. Admittedly, like I know Mag's gonna be cool, but I know I'm not gonna play it. And like same with like SOCOM has always been a series where I'm like, that's cool, but I'm never gonna play this game.
Yeah,
It's just like not my style. But I would say all it really needs is God of War 3. That's it to be totally dominant. There's nothing that's going up against that from 360 right now at all.
Not that's exclusive now.
No. I mean, even if you look at like even if you were to say, oh, Mass Effect 2 is coming out, like no, that's not the same caliber. It's just not. So.
It just doesn't hit as wide a market. Like God of War, everyone will buy God of War.
Yeah.
Like not everybody will buy Mass Effect 2.
Well, and the thing too is, so up to this point, Sony has had some really good exclusive games like Uncharted, and Resistance has its thing, and things like that. But really, Sony's biggest game that when Halo comes out, even if you don't own a 360 or don't want to buy an Xbox of any sort, people look to see how Halo's doing, right?
Right.
People that aren't fans of Grand Theft Auto look to see the review score and stuff like that. God of War, more than anything else, is Sony's one game where everybody's like, how did it turn out? I want to be interested in it. Even if I'm not going to buy a PS3, I still want to know how
it's
what
a debut
doing.
too. This is God of War on HD. Like this is pretty late in the console life cycle for this to be happening,
Right.
Because so we don't even really think about it anymore. But
Well, yeah, because God of War 2 came out when the PS3 was launching, basically. So, anyway, claim is running away.
It happens a lot over in our department.
It does.
Yeah.
Anywho, do you have anything to add before we wrap this up, move on with the show?
No,
Get
let's
some
move
reader
on.
mail.
Let's
All right,
do
we'll
it.
get some reader mail. I started saying, I'm like, ugh. I even have my hot chocolate here. It should be more,
Oh, it's
more
okay.
shape.
You're fine then.
Yeah.
It was one mistake. I've already not proven I can't speak today anyway. So
All right, Damo SX writes in. He says, why do you, Ryan, Clements.
Ooh.
So we have 2 in the room today.
Oh, yeah. I saw this question earlier.
Yeah,
yes.
keep referring to yourself as C-Note.
Well, because I'm that full of myself, but also because it is a nickname that was given to me by Casamassina and Bozon. They came in up during GDC like a month ago and just started calling me C-Note, and I, because I'm completely ignorant, had never heard that slang before used for a $100 bill. Just have never heard of it.
Yeah.
Never through college. No one ever called a $100 bill C-Note. Never heard it on TV, movies, nothing. I must have just been completely living under a rock. I loved it so much because it's so perfect, because I am not C-Note, but I am C-Note, so I am C-Note.
Oh, so there you go.
There you go.
The second and bigger part of his question is, also it's floating around that Capcom is going to announce Marvel vs. Capcom 2 soon for the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade. Do you think there's any truth to this?
I don't know.
Seems pretty likely, given the...
We got a couple. Isn't there a big film coming out soon that is a big Marvel film?
That's true. So,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that would be totally smart on their part.
Yeah,
to do
totally.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I thought there was what other versions were there besides the original Dreamcast one? Was there one
It was
on
on PlayStation 2.
Was it?
Wasn't.
I think there was one on the PS1, wasn't there?
Well, there was Marvel vs. Capcom on the PS1.
Right.
Not 2 though.
But
yeah.
the second
Okay.
one was on. Was there a GameCube version?
That's why I'm
don't
wondering. It says that it's going to be on
remember,
Xbox Live.
I have
right?
that list
Yeah.
actually at my desk for an odd reason.
Yeah.
But I have the whole list of all the Marvel games. So I don't know. But I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah. Continuing on, 2779 says, has Rock Band jumped the shark by going Lego?
Rock Band jumped the shark, in my opinion, before Rock Band Lego was introduced. But
You think
that's just
so?
my personal opinion. I'm tired of music games. I wrote an editorial about it a while back. I'm just like, I'm over kind of the whole like sit around and play fake guitars games.
So but that's music games in general.
Yeah.
But now Rock Band specifically.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Levi Buchanan, our iPhone guy, we were talking on AIM the other day, and I was like, when this announcement was made, and I was like, this is the kind of thing that makes like company founders leave to start another company.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're like, this is ridiculous. This is out of our control now. This isn't what we wanted to do. Like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going on over there, but I can't imagine these guys being psyched about, like the original Harmonix guys being excited about this product.
Absolutely not.
I mean, the thing that doesn't make any sense to me, too, is I like the Lego games. Because you
They're
just
okay.
walk around and you smash. They're great, co-op games.
Great
on
for
the screen.
kids, yeah.
Great for kids, and you can, you just walk around, smash stuff. You collect little bits. There's tons of stuff to buy, so you can. There's a lot to get in there. I don't know how I'm going to be smashing anything while I'm playing, unless after every song I get 5 stars and he smashes the guitar, then I automatically collect all the little bolts, and then I go buy a new head. That's really all I can see happening. Yeah. So I don't know how they're going to make it.
The funny thing here is, like, for me, Rock Band had already lost its luster. I mean, I still like it. I still think it's an awesome game, right? And I just maybe played it too much.
Anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of over it, right?
It's when it was in the office being played until 6, 7 o'clock by the salespeople every day.
Well,
That's when
that
it got
didn't
too
help.
much.
But I also got tired of the Lego games. Like, I reviewed Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, and I was like, and I always liked the Lego games. But after I was done with that game, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done with the Lego games. And then you got Lego Indiana Jones and Lego Batman and all this stuff. I'm just like, so that's 2 franchises I'm totally sick of mashed together into one like hellish beast.
It's like if they combined a monkey and like a cobra together.
That would be awesome.
That's terrible. It's gonna give me
monkey
nightmares.
That would be your most feared
Monkeys eat
and
snakes,
hateful
though.
of. Oh,
Monkeys eat snakes.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. I made that up.
Well,
Monkeys eat snakes, though.
yeah.
What do?
Monkeys?
Mongoose?
Yeah, like a
Plural
mongoose.
mongoose.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the. I guess that would be the plural.
That,
huh?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Jeff Ramsroot writes in, he says, what's with pre-E3 events? Why don't companies just wait until E3 to show you their products? Typically, what correlation is there between the content shown at pre-E3 events versus actual events? Or pre-events versus actual events? So here's the deal. So the problem with E3 is there's, I don't know how many games were shown last year, 400 or something, right? Or at least in like the heyday, there's like 400, 500, 600 games. So if you are, and that's over 3 days. So let's say I have a game there, and let's say it's an A-level game. It's not AAA, but it's A-level, right? Somebody, say, Ryan, you walk by and you play my game. You see it for 10 minutes because you're so busy. Then you write back. I
tell you how crappy it is.
You come back and you crank out a 500-word article in 20 minutes. There's all kinds of typos. You put it on the site. It immediately gets buried, and it's back, and nobody will ever see it again unless they specifically go look for that. That's the problem, and with E3 as a whole. And But more so is the fact that you see the game for such a short period of time because you're out of time and you don't have much time to write about it because you got to get on the next thing, that it doesn't. You can't really get in depth either playing it or explaining it to people.
You're basically just confirming the game exists.
Right.
That's all it is.
So
really
the point
is.
of pre-E3 events is you have, all day usually go in, play all the games that the publisher has, and then you have, it's usually embargoed up to or shortly before E3 starts. So you can write, a 2-page preview on it. You can spend your time and, work on the article, and you can actually make it just like any other preview that you write during the rest of the time of the year when you're not completely slammed for time. So on their end, it's great for them because we can explain the game better, we can see it better, and on our end, it's actually a huge help because we're not nearly as slammed as much. Sometimes publishers will actually show us, say, one level at a pre-E3 event, and then show us different content at E3, but not necessarily new features. So they want us to go back and write more stuff about it. But usually it's either the same or there's barely anything more.
And then we rough them up for doing that kind of shenanigans.
Then it
against
gets down
us.
to fisticuffs.
Yes.
So there you go.
Fisticuffs, huh?
I love that word. Pyromaniac writes in, he says, do you think Sony will bother with any big surprises at this year's E3? And if so, what do you think it could be? Not including a price drop. He means an actual surprise. Well, all right, let's go through the franchises. So God of War we know is coming. Gran Turismo we know is coming. There's Ratchet. There's Resistance 3 is probably too far out to announce.
Yeah.
I know what it's going to be, actually.
Yeah.
I guess I can talk about it.
What's that?
It's Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yes,
Crash Bandicoot.
finally.
That would actually
At long last.
Yeah, I know some people who know some people.
I really want those commercials to come back. Not the ones where crashed in a car. Or whatever,
Yeah, when he's in the
suit.
Yeah.
The one where he's in the car and he pulls it next to the old lady and he's like, "Booyah, Grandma!" Booyah. That's one of the best commercials I've ever seen.
What is this? So if you're gonna make that commercial right now, excuse me, what would this generation's Booyah be? What would he say?
Oh man, the zombie is falling.
Oh no.
Let me put
What
it back
would
up
he
here.
say?
I would think he would say,
I'm on a boat.
That would actually be great.
Oh snap, Grandma.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. But anyway, as far as there's nothing that I don't think an existing franchise could be announced. Twisted Metal actually is probably the only.
But we already knew about it, though.
Everybody kind of already knows that it's coming. It's not official yet, but
like to show it, maybe?
that could be a kind of big one. Actually, though, the biggest thing that Sony can show that's not already announced. Well, so nobody's seen Gran Turismo 5 yet, so that would be big, obviously, just to see, but we know it's coming. But the biggest one that Sony could show at E3 that nobody has seen or know anything about is the next Team Eco game.
Oh.
If that gets announced, that would actually be a very huge deal.
That's more like TGS fodder for this year, right?
We don't know.
I
So
don't know.
it could
I
be
feel
either
like
one.
they're saving it for TGS.
I think we'll at least see some sort of, because Sony needs to burn out the big guns now. I think we'll at least see some sort of teaser at E3.
Do you think they'll finalize 3D plans during the E3 and that'll be a big surprise? Like, hey, we're gonna have 3D games.
But that's got to be the
year
next
or
system,
something.
right?
Well, no.
No.
I mean, they have it.
They have it
remember,
running
they had
now.
it running at GDC. We played Motorstorm and all that. I mean, they could do that, via some other games. That would actually be a pretty good one.
Yeah, it is possible. I don't care. I'm still not buying it, but
Yeah, the problem is you need all new hardware.
yeah.
But I mean, that could be it. Moving on, Sean9986 says, have you guys stated, we've stated our Sony
It's
falling
okay.
apart here.
Let's all just take a second to calm down. Yeah, have a sip of hot chocolate.
I'm perfectly calm.
Have a sip. Yeah, you are.
Don't ever touch
Here
me.
we go again.
Back blast.
You guys have stated your Sony E3 predictions. What about Nintendo or Microsoft? I know this is the PS podcast, but I'm curious to think if they have some huge tricks up their sleeves. PS3 doesn't really have any third-party exclusives from Microsoft to take, so it should be interesting.
Nintendo never has any tricks up their sleeves. They just sit back with their hi-hats and their...
Their hi-hats, yes. They sit back with their hi-hats and their floor toms.
Well, I'm just saying that it's
Well,
like
here's the thing,
hat.
so-
It's very high. It's like a top hat.
So
You know,
Nintendo is not
monocles.
going to announce a new console, clearly, because the Wii's still selling. That's obviously not going to happen.
No, they don't need it.
They just released the DSi, so there's no DS2 or whatever. That'd be stupid. Nintendo also just uses the same franchises over and over and over again. Brawl came out at the beginning of last year, about a year ago, I guess. So they could announce a new one of those.
A little early.
Yeah, I mean
Mario Kart just came out.
Mario Kart just came out. I mean, obviously, if there was a hint at the next Zelda or Mario, if they're making another one for the Wii, that would be
I could
the big thing.
I could see a hint at another Zelda. Twilight Princess has been out for a long time.
They just announced the new DS game, so I feel like they don't want to step all over themselves with that.
true.
I mean, I know. I mean, I agree with you guys, but maybe there's new Mario games too early, maybe for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah,
personally. Like,
not a
I'm over it.
huge Nintendo fan.
I think from the Microsoft side, like I wouldn't be surprised to see like a more of a social networking kind of focus from Microsoft. Like they don't have any big games that we know they're announcing right now, but we know that they've been ramping up hiring on their internal Halo team. Like they are going all out working on a new Halo game. So they could announce that, I mean, if they don't do something Halo related this E3, that's 2 E3s in a row that they've not had a Halo related announcement, and I think that's probably a mistake.
I mean, last year Bungie was supposed to make an announcement.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
ODST.
pulled. Yeah, the ODST expansion was supposed to be E3 of last year. It ended up being moved to TGS instead for some odd reason. But so that was a Halo-less E3 for Microsoft,
right.
and that's their bread and butter. So I don't know. I could see them making it, saying at least just showing a teaser trailer. That could be big.
Just because I'm a Microsoft noob, I guess. I thought, so is Bungie just not handling the proper canonical Halos anymore? Like it's all Microsoft internal?
Yeah, Microsoft is doing like the new Halo games.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that Bungie won't do Halo-related stuff in the future.
Because, they're doing ODST still.
They're doing ODST, but their next project is not a Halo game. Like, they're working on a new project, on multiple projects, and we know that one of them, the main one they're working on, is not a Halo game. So that's going to be totally interesting to see what they do.
Very cool.
Anyway,
I like them a lot. So
I know that like Microsoft wanted to get social networking kind of stuff built into Xbox Live for a while. So I don't know. Maybe that's what they'll lead with.
Integration with Facebook, proper
Twitter
app.
Yeah, I don't know.
Twitter on 360.
That would be rad. If
your avatars are like.
So here it is. The new Xbox plugin is no matter what game you're in, you press the dashboard button or whatever, and the default thing is it automatically generates a tweet of where you are from whatever game you're in. So if you beat level 2, it automatically comes up and says, "I just beat level 2 in Halo 4 or whatever," and then you just hit send.
Yeah, because Twitter spam isn't bad enough at this point. Like, can you imagine what Major Nelson? You guys don't really follow Major. Major Nelson is the sort of main.
He's the Jeff
spokesman
Rubenstein
guy.
of he's the blog guy.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that's exactly what he is. And his Twitter got so bad, it was just ridiculous. I deleted him because it was just like it was like awful.
Like, did he just have constant updates?
Constant updates.
As in like 1 an hour sort of updates, or
more?
Really?
Man.
Yeah. Like, I'm at the airport. I'm getting a cappuccino at the airport. Man, the guy sitting next to me is really fat on the airplane. Getting ready to take off. Then he lands. I'm landed. It's really like, why? I don't care. Anyway, sorry.
Continuing on, Andrew writes in, he says, on games with karma systems, which side do you tend to go? You could see Jeff going with evil, Ryan and Greg being good, and Sam and myself favoring a chaotic neutral approach. That thing is true for me. When I played Knights of the Republic, the first one, and actually part 2, I played as ultimately evil. Did every worst possible thing I could do. But when I played Fallout 3, I took the Han Solo from A New Hope approach. Not Han Solo from Return of the Jedi, but from A New Hope, where it was, I want everything for myself, but I'm going to be but I'm not going to be a bad guy, but I want it for myself. So I would talk to somebody, be nice to their face, when they would turn around and steal from them, then I'd leave. So that's what I did.
Did you do that in Oblivion too?
What did I do in Oblivion? No, actually, I played as good in Oblivion.
Hello.
I believe I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you the hero of Kavach?
No, but I like playing that middle thing because it just has that element of like dark humor to me. But
I usually end up lawful good.
Yeah.
I guess Mass Effect, Oblivion, Fallout 3. Like I always end up being like the most goody two shoes I can be, which is not really my personality in real life. I mean, I'm a nice guy,
person.
but
one of your email signatures sent from my
orbital weapons platform.
Orbital weapons platform.
Yeah, because everyone's like, sent from my iPhone, sent from my BlackBerry, blah blah blah. So I put that in.
I like that one more than sent from the backseat of my Lincoln Town car. However, that one was good, but I like orbital weapons platform better.
Yeah. Ryan, I assume you play as good.
Yeah, I don't know. The more realistic a game gets, the more I feel guilty if I do something bad in it, and I see like an NPC, I kill an NPC or something. I'm like, oh no, she probably had a family.
Speaking of killing NPCs, I want to start a new video feature called, I don't remember what Dave and I were calling it. I think it was calling Punching NPCs in the Face Theater, where we just like take footage of ourselves in games punching NPCs in the face.
Most of them don't react.
Yeah, just keep punching them. Alone in the Dark was great. Like if you ever played that part in Alone in the Dark, you can take the like a fire extinguisher and just smash a guy in the face, and he has the same response every time. It's like, hey, stop that. Hey, quit that.
Be careful.
Like,
Be careful.
I don't know, so that's the kind of thing I like to do with my time.
Very nice.
Brian writes in, he says, I've been paying extra attention to all of your Final Fantasy 13 coverage as of late, and I haven't read anything related to the music of the game.
Nerd.
The Final Fantasy series has always done an amazing job with its music, and he wants to know, from the brief amount of gameplay that you experienced, how does the music stack up?
Is this the question where he says he saw Uematsu listed
Yes.
as one of them? Okay. Did you read that part, or was I just not paying attention?
I didn't actually read. I was skipping. So
yeah, because I don't know if Uematsu did any of the music for 13.
You would think they would be crowing about that if that's the case.
Yeah, and I hadn't really heard anything, and I sort of assumed they had
He's
one of
not
their
on
other
that team
main.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know where. What's his name? Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know where Brian you read that. I would take a cautious approach to that because I have a feeling Uematsu did not work on that project. However, listening to the music, it sounds sort of like they're combining the classical strings and stuff of Final Fantasy with a lot of electronic, like a lot of beats, and there's like this sweet scene where a ship flies in during the train sequence, and there's like this really nice drum track like laid over it, and it's cool. I mean, it's not like the classic, very sentimental Uematsu music.
But see,
it seems.
The thing is, you played it for an hour, right? And I played a little bit of it. I noticed the music was good, but with an RPG, especially like Final Fantasy, sometimes you don't really know how good the music is until you've played it for 12 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
And then those moments happen where the music syncs up with what's happening in the game. So I think none of us can say yet whether or not the music is good, bad, indifferent.
From what I hear, from what I've heard so far, it seems good. It seems fair. And it seems like it's kind of more electronic to match the highly technological aesthetics of the game. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Last piece of mail that I have, Corey writes in, he says, this is more of a question for Ryan, looking at the Final Fantasy 13
Another
preview.
one.
I've noticed that the character models and clothing seem more modern or American than in Final Fantasy games past. Would you say the game as a whole is more Western than games past? And again, this is based off the one demo.
No, it's certainly not. If you're talking about gameplay, it's probably still nowhere near a Western RPG.
Gameplay.
Oh,
he was talking about like how they look, right?
Just
the character models.
just the looks. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In which
I think he's right. I think it does look more Western style.
I don't know. There's still lots of belt buckles being worn in odd places, like around your arms and legs.
But, I don't know. It didn't strike me as that kind of over the top, like sort of anime inspired stuff. I mean, like people were wearing like cargo pants and like army shirts. Like it wasn't that crazy.
I would liken it somewhat to the normal looking characters in 12, how they had sort of that cross between sci-fi stuff mixed with like the old English, sort of like the truffled shirts and everything.
Truffled shirts. So their shirts had truffles.
No, sorry, I don't mean truffles. What is it when it's got frill? Ruffles.
I was gonna let him sort of.
No, I knew as soon as I said it, I messed up. So thank you. I also hate you. And ruffled shirts. So it's kind of like that, where it's techie, but it also has I guess you could say Western, but when I see
look
that
at the character, the African American guy with the afro.
With the afro, yeah.
I mean, he looks like a very American character to me. So I mean, if that's the question, then
and I guess when you look at Lightning, I mean, the most Japanese thing about her is that she has like a half cape hanging off of one of her shoulders. Very, very Japanese.
I thought the hair was pretty normal.
Yeah,
everyone's hair
except
was
for
normal.
the one NPC guy with a giant red mohawk with like with those braided sort of into the sides.
He's just in Static X. So
okay. I see.
There you go.
Very well.
Anyway, we just talked about outfits of Final Fantasy way too long.
Yeah. No,
sorry
it was completely good timing.
We'll continue this conversation
and
later,
there's plenty of truffles to be.
There are many truffles. Oh, and one of the characters, the unlockable characters, is a truffle sniffing pig that you can have join your party. And so he always sniffs out the truffles. No, that's only the Tales of Vesperia dog.
All right, so there you go. Getting on.
So there you go.
Ryan, it looks like you have a printout from Beast. Is this correct?
I do have a printout from Beast. Beast says that this week's IGN PS3 Community Challenge winner in a game of MotorStorm Pacific Rift was Raz Skull, or as he actually spells it, Rasecul. So I would have said Rascal, but that's not how Beast wants it pronounced. And he says, "Thank you so much. As always, congratulations, Raz Skull. And again, if you want to take part in the community challenges, you can go to the IGN boards, the PS3 lobby, and Beast 786. Oh God,
yeah.
Is
so
that right?
What does this guy win?
Nothing. This is just
fame and fortune.
Just a shout
fame
out?
and fortune. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yes.
So what they've been doing, I don't think this applies, but they were playing for the world, where they would take over countries and they would play for Switzerland or whatever an X game, and then whichever team, it was America versus the world, and whoever won that would win Switzerland.
As is the case in real life.
Yes,
exactly.
In a game of Resistance,
They haven't been doing
wins Switzerland.
That would probably be just a much better way to decide these things, just through games.
There was an episode of Speed Racer, the old thing, not the stupid movie, but there was an episode of Speed Racer where it was there was, if I remember correctly, there was a small country that was trying to be taken over by another country, and they said, and of course the country that's being taken over is good, and they said, all right, instead of going to war, let's race for it. And they had a giant race that went through a volcano, and like Speed's car was flying and stuff, and so Speed Racer and it was representing that. Speed starts losing, and like if I remember correctly, Racer X comes out of the middle of nowhere and stops the bad guys, and Speed wins, and Racer X like take one for the team. But that race was for the fate of millions or 100,000 people, however many people in this country. But
we could do that with Formula One because
yes,
everywhere except the United States follows Formula One rabidly. So you could just have like whatever country's F1 team. Yeah, soccer.
Then we'll start losing like crazy because I'm sure there's not. I mean,
actually,
all the good Formula One drivers and.
Well, there's plenty of good F1 drivers in the U.S. We just don't have F1 teams. Like like Michael Schumacher was American, right?
Clayman is back.
Sorry, I had to align my synergies.
verticality.
Did you check on our core competencies while you were out there?
Yeah, the core is down. I had to put more Cheetos into it. The problem with all this, we're reorganizing and shared content and blah, 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 is that I don't get to sit at my desk and play like Halo Wars for 6 hours. I have to go to meetings and stuff.
Yeah,
stupid.
That's good.
That's good fun.
That is true. You did play a lot of Halo Wars for fun. Mac blasting all over the place.
I missed everything. Sorry. Yep.
No, it's quite
we're just basically wrapping up the show here. PSN hit of the week. Ryan, do you have anybody to add for this thing?
No, I didn't have anyone picked out. Do you?
I have a random name. Just Andrew, who wrote in with the karma system question.
Right.
His PSN ID is Inane Asylum.
Oh, wait, hold on. That sounds familiar.
Did we do him already?
Have we done a hit of him already?
Hell, there's probably new listeners since then.
PSN double hit confirmed.
So this is Inane Asylum.
That's my thing.
INANE_ASYLUM. He's PSN hit of the week.
So now people just spam this guy on PSN?
Yeah, they add him as a friend. They just start saying Beyond. The point is that they're supposed to go into a multiplayer game. So you watch, see if he's playing Warhawk. You put in Warhawk, you find his game, and then you just kill him repeatedly. And we have all our listeners go and just target.
That's the meanest thing ever.
That's great.
No, it's it builds community.
Yes, by griefing people. I like it already.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got in the show. I think we're pretty much coming to the end.
Can I do the programming notes first before we get to the song?
What's the editor beatdown?
That is our.
That's what we just.
It's the brand new special segment.
So the brand new special segment, Liars, if there's actually a liar of the week. But we don't have one.
We don't have a liar for this week.
This bottom part of the sheet here is moves in and out basically.
Have you guys talked about the thing that we just heard about before we came into the podcast?
What's
the
that?
PS3 exclusive thing?
Yeah, no.
No, I forgot to add it to news.
Very late news piece.
Yeah, the very late news piece just coming in. Wait, hold on. I'm hearing something from Deborah right now. Apparently, wait, is this correct? Yes, the Joker is a playable character exclusively on the PS3 in Batman Dark Asylum.
You're holding your headphone as if you can hear something.
Can we get this technology, Dave?
Yes, that is confirmed.
Really good.
Chloe just
open some sockets.
Yeah. Chloe just opened a socket into your brain.
Running out of time.
I don't have enough time. I need those codes.
Yes.
That'd be awesome if Cortana just actually spoke to us throughout the entire podcast with witty
that's
commentary.
360 News. What channel are you on?
Whatever. I like Cortana.
And he's
She's
right.
the best character.
Yeah, there you go.
Chief,
so a
can you
little
hear
bit
me?
of housekeeping.
That's my Cortana impression.
First off, if you want to write in, send us some questions, either go to our message boards, and you'll find it in the message boards on there. You can leave a message. Ryan will be starting a topic every week. Jeff's doing it before, but since he's no longer on the team, meh. But you can look for that one, or you can write to beyond@ign.com. You send us your questions there. We will feed through and pick out the good ones. If you have not already, please go into iTunes, rate the podcast, helps get the word out. People will see that kind of stuff.
If you want us to be more powerful, you will sign into iTunes and rate our podcast and write a review for
my
it.
Twitter book me. My name is David Clayman, and I need 1 million friends.
Yeah.
Yes, he's serious, by the way. Our Twitter is IGN.com, and if you do not follow us on Twitter, Dave will have to eat all the Cheetos in the core.
Now, here's the thing. I think I might have mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, the thing with Bill and Ted, where the future turns into Rock and Roll Future, will happen, except that it has nothing to do with Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
It's beyond. So if you don't help us, the evil overlords will take over.
And Steve Vai will constantly be playing guitar in the background.
That's right. That's what's going to happen.
And Adrian Ballou.
So yeah, still go on there. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we have an IGN Twitter, which is IGN.com. There's no dot in there. Follow us there. I have a Twitter. I upload pictures during the thing. It's Chris_Roper. You guys want to pimp your things?
We have
your
no
Twitter
things.
account?
What do we have? What things do we have?
Twitter.
Yeah, well, I already
No.
mentioned Twitter.
IGN.com on Twitter.
Yeah.
Basically, also, if you ever see stupid posts on there and nobody is taking credit for it, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, and also we restarted the IGN mailbag.
Yeah.
I'm doing that every
Oh,
week.
yeah, yeah.
So hit the PlayStation email. You can also, you guys are obviously asking questions to the podcast. But you can ask general PlayStation questions, and I might, or one of us might answer those
Yeah.
on the mailbag. So yeah,
Yes.
There you go.
definitely do that.
I'm
And,
on Friendster.
Yeah.
Is that
on
around anymore?
Napster.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still love when I finally go to Twitter something and they're like, I'm like, oh yeah, I wrote this Final Fantasy preview. Let me go onto Twitter, and it's like, hi everybody, I'm Ryan. I love Final Fantasy, and I'm like, I did not write that at all.
That's me.
Yeah, that is David Clay.
Yeah, you gotta do it fast, or else he's gonna make fun of you. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of the show. Ryan, you have anything to add before we get out of here?
No, I think I have a very special song.
We do
It's
have a
going to
special
take
song.
a little bit more time than usual.
What the hell's this crap?
So
I'm going to Mac blast you in the face.
every episode ends with a song. We used to end every episode with a song. Just
this
so there's a little thing.
This is a tradition long since began by Greg.
Since episode 1. Now, here's the thing. We all, as mentioned at the beginning of the show, Jeff is leaving us to go work for Jason Ocampo.
Yep.
We're on the PC team. His desk is not moving, but he's not going to be part of the podcast anymore. But
Yeah.
so we're going to have a farewell song to him. As one final thing I want to mention before we get actually to the song, this is episode 88, so we have 12 more to go until we're on 100. We're trying to do some kind of cool things. I have some ideas out to Sony to kind of do some cool things. Maybe we'll get some cool guests on here or something. But if you guys have any cool ideas you want to send in, please do let us know. I was thinking one thing, I don't know if this would work very well, is to get some listener shout-outs of people saying Beyond, so you mail in like a little MP3 of just you yelling or whatever. Maybe we can do that kind of thing. I don't know about what we're going to do yet, but if you have ideas, please send them in. We want to make the show kind of cool, so please do
Because
that.
it's obviously not cool right now.
No, we want to make it cooler than normal.
You said it, not us.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't say it, he said it. But anyway, so getting back to the Jeff thing, Ryan has a little farewell song for him.
Yes, I have a farewell song, even though he's not here. I wanted him to be here. You also notice I'm going to talk a lot more now that Jeff, Mr. Chatterbox Haynes, is not going to be into the podcast.
Cover of "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" by Elton John?
No.
Damn it.
But
about
I'm going to
Tiny-
switch to that
Tiny
song
Dancer?
right now. No. However, if anybody wants to
Candle in the
chime in with some melodic guitar riffs or like sort of a bongo drum beat, I kind of look to you for percussion.
I was counting on leaving.
Okay, go. Fine. Don't stick around for my song. This is a long song, but it's worth it because Jeff needs a proper farewell. So we're ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
By Mastodon.
No, it's not.
Okay.
All right. This is going to be terrible. White podcast room and 5 old dusty headsets. He wiped one off and put it to his ears. Doom, 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 doom. Eyes hurting bad from the strain of reading hate mail. He didn't know why they all loved to laugh. Feeling the heat from an overclocked PC fan. He shrugged his shoulders softly in the glow. Boom, doom, boom, doom, boom, doom, boom, doom, 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 doom. Jeffrey Haynes, my friend, don't you give your final Beyond. It's not too late, you can still sub on our show. Do 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 do. Do you still remember when you 4.9 the haze? When you stuck with all of your great guns and you 9.5 resistance? Hey, and you me had with all the best of them, and you said time for some news. When you beyonded and shook the walls with fear. Hands hurting bad from snapping and doing blog knack. You poor old coot, you see it's only me. Jeffrey Haynes, my friend, don't you give your final Beyond. It's not too late, you can still sub on our show. Do 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 dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee.
All right, that's the end of the show. We will see you guys next week on episode 89. Dave and Ryan, thanks for stepping in the absence of other folks. Beyond.
We know you don't really pee in your pants. It was just a joke. We'll let it die today.